Elephants are the largest land mammals on Earth and have distinctly massive bodies, large ears, and long trunks. They use their trunks to pick up objects, trumpet warnings, greet other elephants, or suck up water for drinking or bathing, among other uses. Both male and female African elephants grow tusks, and each individual can either be left or right tusked, and the one they use more is usually smaller because of wear and tear. Elephant tusks serve many purposes. These extended teeth can be used to protect the elephant's trunk, lift and move objects, gather food, and strip bark from trees. They can also be used for defense. During times of drought, elephants even use their tusks to dig holes to find water underground. Two genetically different African species exist, the savanna elephant and the forest elephant, with a number of characteristics that differentiate them both. The African savanna elephant is the largest elephant species, while the Asian forest elephant and the African forest elephant are of a comparable, smaller size. Asian elephants differ in several ways from their African relatives, with more than 10 distinct physical differences between them. For example, Asian elephants' ears are smaller compared to the large fan-shaped ears of the African species. Only some male Asian elephants have tusks, while both male and female African elephants grow tusks. Led by a matriarch, elephants are organized into complex social structures of females and calves, while male elephants tend to live in isolation or in small bachelor groups. A single calf is born to a female once every 4 to 5 years, and after a gestation period of 22 months, the longest of any mammal. Calves are cared for by the entire herd of related females. Female calves may stay with their maternal herd for the rest of their lives, while males leave the herd as they reach puberty. Forest elephants' social groups differ slightly and may be comprised of only an adult female and her offspring. However, they may congregate in larger groups in forest clearings where resources are more abundant. African elephants, both species, live in the wild on much of the African continent south of the Sahara. Asian elephants live in the wild in India and Southeast Asia, including Sumatra and Borneo. Their former range stretched from the region south of the Himalayas throughout Southeast Asia and into China north to the Yangtze River. Elephants roam great distances to find enough food and water. Mali's desert elephants in Africa migrate almost 300 miles in a year, as far as 35 miles in a day, all in pursuit of water. In the wild, elephants can live to be about 70 years old. In a survey of 4,500 captive elephants worldwide, among African elephants, zoo-born females live an average of 16.9 years in zoos, while those in the wild make it to 56. Asian elephants, the more endangered of the two species, live 18.9 years in captivity and 41.7 in the wild. Time, 2008. Captive elephants suffer from chronic health problems such as tuberculosis, arthritis, and foot abscesses, which nearly always lead to premature death. Elephants have no natural predators. However, lions will sometimes prey on young or weak elephants in the wild. The main risk to elephants is from humans through poaching and destruction of their habitat. Female elephants spend their entire lives living in large groups called herds. Male elephants leave their herds at about 13 years old and live fairly solitary lives, sometimes joining loose-knit bachelor herds of other male elephants, leaving at will to search for potential mates. Female elephants are called cows, male elephants are called bulls, and babies are called calves. A herd can consist of 8 to 100 individuals depending on terrain, climate, and family size. Female herds are led by matriarchs, often the oldest and wisest females in the group. An elephant will have one calf, twins are very rare, at a time, and the mother and all of the other females in the herd, including aunts, grandmothers, and sisters, will raise the baby. An elephant in the wild will rarely have more than 4 children throughout her life. Female elephants can start to have babies when they are about 14 years old and they are pregnant for 22 months, the longest pregnancy of mammals. A baby elephant weighs about 200 to 250 pounds. 91 to 113 kilograms. At birth, a calf's trunk has little muscle tone and no coordination. It takes several months for a calf to gain full control of its trunk. Baby elephants suckle through their mouth. Young Asian elephants are reported to stand soon after birth. After several months, the calf begins to eat grass and foliage. It stays under the supervision of its mother for several years but begins making independent movements at 4 years. Full size is attained at about 18 to 24 years. Eyesight. Elephants' eyes are small. Because of the position and size of the head and neck, they have limited peripheral vision. Reportedly, elephants have poor eyesight with a range of only 25 feet. This is slightly improved in forest shade. Skin. An elephant's skin is an inch thick in some areas but very thin behind their ears, under their legs, armpits, and around their eyes and rectum. Their skin is prone to irritation from insect bites. Asian elephants have more hair on their body than African elephants, and this is especially evident in young Asian elephants, who are covered in a coat of reddish-brown hair. The skin color of Asian elephants is dark gray to brown, with patches of pink on the forehead, the ears, and sometimes the base of the trunk and chest. Teeth. Elephants have 4 molars, one on the top and one on the bottom of both sides of the mouth. One molar can weigh about 5 pounds and is the size of a brick. Elephants have 6 sets of teeth over their lifetime, with old teeth being replaced as they wear out through use. New teeth grow in the back of the mouth and move forward to replace old worn sets. Once all of an elephant's teeth are used up, it is unable to feed properly. Solitary elephants will usually die of starvation, whereas herd elephants will help feed starving members of their group. Tail. An elephant's tail can be as long as 4.2 feet. 1.3 meters, and is tipped by a series of very coarse, wire-like hair. They have an extraordinary degree of control over tail movement and use them as fly swatters against insects. Ears. Asian elephants' ears are much smaller than African elephants' ears. Elephants have large, thin ears made up of a complex network of blood vessels, which help with regulating an elephant's temperature. Blood is circulated through their ears to cool them down in hot climates. African elephants often use their ears to communicate visually. Flapping their ears can signify either aggression or joy. On average, an elephant can hear another elephant's call at 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers, away. Under ideal conditions, their range of hearing can be increased to 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers. Elephants have an excellent sense of hearing and are said to be able to pick up some sounds over distances of 10 miles. Brains, intelligence and emotions. Elephants have a highly developed brain, the largest of all the land mammals. Their brain is 3 or 4 times larger than that of humans, although smaller as a proportion of body weight. Elephants are extremely intelligent animals and have memories that span many years. It is this memory that serves matriarchs well during dry seasons when they need to guide their herds, sometimes for tens of miles, to watering holes that they remember from the past. Elephants are highly sensitive and caring animals. If a baby elephant complains, the entire family will rumble and go over to touch and caress it. Elephants express grief, joy, compassion, self-awareness, altruism, and play. Elephants pay homage to the bones of their dead, gently touching the skulls and tusks with their trunks and feet. When an elephant walks past a place where a loved one has died, he/she will stop, offering a silent pause that can last several minutes. Elephants are one of the few species that recognize themselves in a mirror. The others are humans, apes, orcas, dolphins and, most recently discovered, magpies. Elephants have a slow pulse rate of 27. Humans average 60 to 80 and a canary pulse is 1000. The average weight for an elephant heart is about 27 to 46 pounds, 12 to 21 kilograms. An elephant will urinate approximately 13 gallons, 50 liters, throughout the day, voiding 3 gallons, 10 liters, each time they urinate. That's the equivalent of 5 bottles of soda each time. Feet. Elephant feet are covered in soft padding that helps uphold their weight, prevent them from slipping, and dull any sound. Therefore, elephants can walk almost silently. The sole pads expand when weight is brought down and contract when the pressure is released. This allows even distribution of the elephant's massive bulk. Foot disease is the most common reason for captive elephant death. It occurs as a result of standing on hard surfaces, concrete, all day and developing deep bone infections, osteomyelitis. Asian elephants have 5 toenails on their front feet and 4 on the back feet. African elephants have 4 toenails on both front and back. Elephants are the only mammals that can't jump. An amazing but nevertheless accurate fact is that an elephant's height at the shoulder is twice the circumference of his foot. Elephants normally walk about 4 miles per hour but have been observed to reach speeds of 25 miles per hour. The average human walks 3 miles per hour, and the average speed of a person riding a bicycle is 15 miles per hour. Elephants need extensive land areas to survive and meet their ecological need, which includes food, water, and space. On average, an elephant can feed up to 18 hours and consume hundreds of pounds of plant matter in a single day. As a result, as they lose habitat, they often come into conflict with people in competition for resources. Today, the greatest threat to African elephants is wildlife crime, primarily poaching for the illegal ivory trade, while the greatest threat to Asian elephants is habitat loss, which results in human-elephant conflict. WWF has advocated for an end to commercial elephant ivory sales in the US and other major markets like China, Thailand, and Hong Kong as the most effective and efficient solution to end this illegal ivory trade. Elephants are also losing their habitats and ancient migratory routes due to expanding human settlements into their habitat, agricultural development, and the construction of infrastructure such as roads, canals, and fences that fragment their habitat. As a result, human-elephant conflict is rising as more and more elephants come into close contact with humans. This often leads to elephants destroying crops and property, as well as occasional human casualties. These negative interactions can result in the retaliatory killing of elephants. Reducing conflict between people and elephants. Human-elephant conflict leads not only to negative interactions and loss of income, property, and lives, but also reduces community tolerance for conserving elephants. Addressing complex issues like human-wildlife conflict requires approaches that not only reduce the immediate impacts of negative interactions but also addresses the drivers and root causes of the conflict. WWF works with various stakeholders, particularly wildlife managers and communities, to incorporate tools and technologies, such as electric fencing, deterrence, and other tools, to prevent potentially harmful encounters. We also engage in efforts to educate communities that lead to behavior change that will minimize negative impacts. We help community response teams to respond to instances of human-elephant conflict and work with communities to develop alternative livelihood opportunities to help minimize economic impacts from crop loss. To reduce human-wildlife conflict in the long term, WWF works with governments and other stakeholders to address the root causes of human-elephant conflict, such as habitat loss and fragmentation and unplanned development. Strengthening anti-poaching initiatives. Community and government rangers and game guards help protect endangered species like elephants, and WWF helps train and equip them. In the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, KAZA, the world's largest terrestrial conservation landscape, which harbors more than half of Africa's elephants, WWF aims to secure a future for these animals and other wildlife by supporting the work of the KAZA Secretariat and the 5 KAZA partner countries, Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, and their local communities through better protection, increasing the knowledge of their seasonal movements, and promoting community-based conservation initiatives, in collaboration with the private sector. WWF trains rangers in elephant monitoring and anti-poaching techniques and works with communities to manage and reduce conflict with elephants. At the borders of Cambodia and Vietnam, WWF works with park staff to patrol protected areas and assess elephant distribution and numbers. In this transboundary landscape, WWF works to protect and enable movement of the elephant population, of which the population on the Vietnam side is significant and the largest remaining wild elephant population in the country. Stopping illegal ivory trade. WWF works with Traffic, the International Wildlife Trade Monitoring Network, to reduce the major threat that illegal and illicit domestic ivory markets pose to wild elephants. Traffic also manages a global record of ivory seizures, called the Elephant Trade Information System, ETIS, that helps to identify routes and countries of particular importance in illegal trade. To help wildlife inspectors, law enforcement, and researchers distinguish between different types of ivory and help identify illegally trafficked ivory products, WWF published the Identification Guide for Ivory and Ivory Substitutes, at the request of, and funded by, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, in partnership with traffic and ivory identification experts from the USFUS Forensic Laboratory. It serves as an objective, scientific resource for identifying the most commonly found ivories and artificial substitutes in trade. Reducing demand for elephant ivory. China's elephant ivory ban is a historic milestone in the ongoing effort to save an iconic species. But with China's markets closed, markets elsewhere remain open and continue to attract consumers. And as more and more Chinese travel internationally, nearly 200 million Chinese tourists travel abroad each year, incidents of elephant ivory smuggling are on the rise. WWF is working directly with these countries to support the closing of their elephant ivory markets and leverage international policy and diplomacy channels. A big focus for WWF is also changing consumer behavior to reduce elephant ivory purchasing and create a new norm that elephant ivory is not socially acceptable. We are working with leading online retailers, social media platforms, tourism companies, and creative agencies. Strong partnerships are already in place with the travel and e-commerce sectors, with commitments to avoid promoting, handling, or selling elephant ivory. WWF is also working with a leading market research firm to conduct annual surveys of consumers to better understand consumer attitudes and desire for elephant ivory so that we can change social norms around ivory and reduce demand. Through this research, we are able to identify demographics of elephant ivory purchasers and consumers, understand their underlying motivations, and develop effective strategies to influence them. Protecting elephant habitat. WWF works with elephant range state governments, local people, and non-governmental partners to secure a future for this keystone species by thinking beyond protected areas. Although significant elephant populations are now confined to well-protected areas, less than 20% of African elephant habitat is under formal protection. In Asia, on average, 70% of the wild elephant population lives outside protected areas. We advocate for large conservation landscapes like Kazaa, which is located in southern Africa and is the largest terrestrial transboundary conservation area in the world. Home to around 225,000 elephants, we work to maintain this space to provide elephants freedom to roam. 1. They're the world's largest land animal. The African savanna, bush, elephant is the world's largest land animal, with adult males, or bull elephants, standing up to 3 m high and weighing up to 6,000 kilograms on average. Males only reach their full size at 35 to 40 years, that's well over half their lifespan, as wild elephants can live for up to 60 to 70 years. And it's not just the adults, even calves are huge. At birth, a baby elephant can weigh 120 kilograms, that's almost 19 stone. 2. You can tell the three species apart by their ears. There are 3 species of elephant: African savanna, bush, African forest, and Asian. The ears of African elephants are much larger than their cousins and are described as being shaped like the African continent, whereas the ears of Asian elephants are shaped like the Indian subcontinent. There's also a trunk difference. African elephants have 2 fingers at the tip of their trunks, whereas Asian elephants have 1. 3. Their trunks have mad skills. Elephants have around 150,000 muscle units in their trunk. Their trunks are perhaps the most sensitive organ found in any mammal. Elephants use their trunks to suck up water to drink, it can contain up to 8 liters of water. They also use their trunks as a snorkel when swimming. 4. Their tusks are actually teeth. Elephant tusks are actually enlarged incisor teeth which first appear when elephants are around 2 years old. Tusks continue growing throughout their lives. Tusks are used to help with feeding, prizing bark off trees or digging up roots, or as a defense when fighting. But these beautiful tusks often cause elephants danger. They're made from ivory, a much desired object. Read on to find out why elephants are under threat. 5. They've got thick skin. An elephant's skin is 2.5 centimeters thick in most places. The folds and wrinkles in their skin can retain up to 10 times more water than flat skin does, which helps to cool them down. They keep their skin clean and protect themselves from sunburn by taking regular dust and mud baths. 6. Elephants are constantly eating. Elephants eat grasses, leaves, shrubs, fruits and roots depending on the season and their habitat. When it's particularly dry, elephants will eat more woody parts of trees and shrubs like twigs, branches, and barks. They need to eat up to 150 kilograms of food per day, that's around 375 tins of baked beans, although half of this may leave the body undigested. Elephants eat so much that they can spend up to 3/4 of their day just eating. 7. They communicate through vibrations. Elephants communicate in a variety of ways, including sounds like trumpet calls. Some sounds are too low for people to hear, body language, touch and scent. They can also communicate through seismic signals, sounds that create vibrations in the ground, which they may detect through their bones. 8. A baby elephant can stand within 20 minutes of birth. Amazingly, elephant calves are able to stand within 20 minutes of being born and can walk within 1 hour. After 2 days, they can keep up with the herd. This incredible survival technique means that herds of elephants can keep migrating to find food and water to thrive. 9. An elephant never forgets. The elephant's temporal lobe, the area of the brain associated with memory, is larger and denser than that of people, hence the saying elephants never forget. Thank you for watching this video.